Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome you all. We are doing a book called Husne Akhlaq. Chapter is Amanat. Amanat means trustworthiness. When you trust somebody, and one of the thing that is most respected when somebody trusts you and you return your trust. So what will happen? They rely on you. First of all, trustworthiness comes from what? It is the fear of Allah that make you have the trustworthiness, and that is part of the Iman. Here, Amanat, trustworthiness. The ayah of the Quran, Surah An-Nisa, ayah number 58. قال الله تعالى إن الله يأمركم أن تودوا أمانة إلى أهلها. Allah the Exalted says, verily Allah commands that you should render back the trust position to those to whom they are due. Like somebody is trusting you, you should return your trust. Like no matter what, whether they are good to you or bad to you, or you have something in your heart, doesn't matter. But you have to return your trust no matter what. This is the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because in Allah, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Yamurukum is from Amar. It's like an imperative, it's like an order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When order is there, what one has to do? One has to do it. It's like a mandatory thing. And tuwaddu amanati ila ahliha. Position to those to whom they are due. Like you have given a certain amount of duty. Are you fulfilling that duty or not? Like you are doing a 9 to 5 job. Are you fulfilling that duty? Or you have been assigned a certain kind of authority. Are you doing that authority or not? Are you fulfilling it or not? And we have seen in Surah Al-Mu'minun, like one of the aspect, they return the amanat. So when the people, when they are trusted, they return the amanat. That is the believers, one of the aspect of the believer. And what is the opposite? Like those who are not trusted. And one of the aspect of the munafiq is when they are trusted, they break the trustworthiness. So a believer is one who fulfill the trustworthiness. Next ayah is Suratul Anfal, ayah number 27. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu la takunu Allah wa rasulahu takunu amanatikum wa antum ta'lamun. Allah the Exalted says, O you who believe, betray not Allah. Here, la takunu, it's from khiyana, do not betray not Allah and His Messenger, not betraying takunu Allah wa Rasulah, not betraying knowingly your amana, things entrusted to you, and all the duties which Allah has ordained for you. Here, wa Rasulihi wa takunu amanatikum wa antum ta'lamun. So what Allah has given the duties Allah has ordained for you, you have to fulfill that. Whether it's hukuk Allah or hukuk ibad. Somebody has given you a talk, like he believe you and he share a certain kind of secret, or he want to discuss the matter and he didn't share with anyone except you. So it's a kind of amana towards you. You shouldn't share that to anyone. The same thing, like somebody gave you something to keep it, so that after certain time you have to return it. Definitely one has to return it back because it's a amana. So one has to return. Suratul Anfal, ayah number 58, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna Allah la yuhibbul qa'inin. Certainly Allah likes not the treacherous who are doing khiyana, who is doing treachery. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not like, does not love such kind of people. What happens, like somebody breaks your trust. Okay, for example, they break your trust and they did the khiyana, they were treacherous. So are you supposed to do the same thing with them? No. Definitely not, because they did their part. But you have to prove yourself. A mu'min can't be a treacher. You can't do the khiyana in that, whether it's a kind of worldly thing, but whether it's a kind of promise, whether it's a kind of secret talk. One should not do the khiyana in that. Hadith number 63. In this mention, Anas bin Malik radiallahu anhu narrated, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam addressed us and said in his sermon, like when he did the sermon khutbah, he has no iman who is not trustworthy, and he has no deen who does not keep promises. So it's clear-cut message here. One who is having iman, they should be trustworthy, and deen who does not, one who is not keeping promises, it's not like belonging to the deen. So here clearly mention عن أنس بن مالك قال قد دابنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال في خطبة in the khutbah in sermon لا إيمان لمن لا أمانة له ولا دين لمن لا أحد له. So if you have iman, keep the amana. If you have deen, keep that amana. You can't break the trustworthiness. So it's a part of the iman that you are trustworthy. And one who is having deen, one who is having iman, should not break the promises. Like day to day life, we promise many things. We have to think about it before promising anything to any person, whether it's immediate family. Sometimes we promises to small children and we break it and they never trust you again. And same thing with the spouse or with any other person, especially when you are very busy and engrossed in the work so much and you say, oh, I'm going to do certain thing at certain time, but you are not able to just say them sorry or say them before, I will try inshallah. If I am not able to, please forgive me for that. Many times it happens, the things, it's not in our control. We try to do it, but that's a khata, that's by a mistake you do it, but not intentionally. One is trying and not fulfilling it. One shouldn't do that, such kind of breaking the promises. Like if you break the promises, what will happen? Your trust is gone. Nobody will trust you. And you are breaking the trust of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is a part of the iman. Next hadith, hadith number 64. Here it's mentioned, it's narrated by Abu Huraira radiallahu anhu, narrated, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, return the trust to one who has entrusted you. If somebody is trusting you, return their trust. And do not be treacherous to the one who are treacherous to you. Thing is that when somebody is being very mean or very hard towards you, you behave the same way and you think it's okay to behave that way and being mean, it's part. You think that you do khiyana, you do treachery. No, one shouldn't do that because somebody is trusting you. Allah is watching you. If somebody is being mean and bad towards you, no matter what they did, you can't return the same thing towards them because Allah is watching you. You shouldn't do khiyana, you shouldn't do the treachery. Even though one who is dealing with you, they already did the treachery with you. Even though they did treachery, then also do not do treachery with them. Because addal amanata ila manittama'anaka wala takhun man khanak. So return the trust to one who entrusts you. Do not be treacherous to the one who was treacherous to you. And the next hadith, hadith number 65, this is narrated by Qala al-Ansariya radiyallahu anha, narrated, I heard Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, some people are engrossed in spending Allah's wealth with an unjust manner. For such people, there will be hellfire on the day of standing. Here it's narrated by Qala al-Ansariya. Some people are engrossed in spending Allah's wealth in unjust manner. You spend Allah's wealth in an unjust manner. For such people, there will be hellfire on the day of standing. like what you call israf, without even thinking you spend. That is not the way. If you are engrossed in spending Allah's wealth in unjust manner, if you are doing in a just manner, Allah will support you. But you are doing unjust manner for them, what will be the end result? Hellfire on the day of standing. Wordings of the hadith. And قال عن سارية رضي الله عنها قالت سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إن رجالا يتقوى يتقوّدون في مال الله بغير حق فلهم النار يوم القيامة. If you are not returning the haqq and you are spending in a manner which is not right, which is unjust manner, then your place of standing on the day of judgment will be hellfire. Hadith number 66. Jabir bin Abdullah radiallahu anhu narrated, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when a person discloses any matter to another, then looks here and there, then it is a trust. Have you ever noticed, like somebody wants to share something secret, they look here and there, then they share. It means it's a private and confidential. One should not share with another person. Because sometimes you show with the gesture, sometimes you say, oh please don't share with anybody, this is a personal matter. That's what it means. Sometimes people show with the gesture, sometimes they tell you verbally, isn't it? Look at the wordings of the hadith. And Jabir bin Abdullah and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال إذا حدث رجل الحديث ثم تفت فهي أمانة. So, when a person discloses any matter to another person, then look here and there, then it's a trust. It's understood. So many times people don't say, like, don't share with anybody. But it is understood when they are looking here and there and they are whispering in your ear and they are saying in a manner, you know that you are not supposed to share with anybody. And that's a amana towards you. Many talk is a amana, many gatherings are amana. In some classes or gathering, Islamic gathering, in a particular context, some talk has been given. You can't pick and choose and make a different version out of it. No, you can't do that, because when something is discloses between people, it is a matter related to that. You are not supposed to disclose this with any other person. It's a amana. Many times we return the physical things, but what about the things which is a talk or a secret or a promise? Are we returning or not? That is so important. Sometimes, many years back, you do some promise that you're going to fulfill it. But after years pass by, you say, oh, that time I was very innocent, I didn't know, so on and so forth. And you started making excuses and you don't want to fulfill it. Just you are making it up. One should not promise such kind of promises. If you do, then you should ask forgiveness to that person if you are breaking the promise. One should not break it, but sometimes you never know, like because of the circumstances, because of the things which are not same way after so many years, so on and so forth, looking the conditions and other things, one should say sorry and do the excuse. Next, hadith number 67. Abdullah bin Jafar radiallahu anhu narrated, one day Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam mounted me behind him and narrated to me something secretly which I would narrate to no one among people. So here look at the position of Abdullah bin Jafar. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is sharing something, mounted me behind him and narrated to me something secretly. It was between Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abdullah bin Jafar, because he was a trustworthy person. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared that thing. And when you trust somebody, it means they have that beautiful qualities of trustworthiness. Look at the wordings of the hadith. And Abdullah bin Jafarin called أردفني رسول الله ذات يوم خلفه فأسر إلي حديثا لا أحدث أحدث به أحدا من الناس. So he shared a particular kind of secret with Abdullah bin Jafar, and he said he never shared that secret to anyone. That's how the trustworthiness is. One has to keep the trustworthiness no matter what. So, what are the different times and places when you break the trust? When you are angry or upset, when you have a fight with somebody and you start breaking the promises because of the anger, because of that particular incident, and you start talking those things which you are not supposed to talk, isn't it? And what was the root cause? Because somebody was very mean to you and you started saying things, and that is not amana, that is a khiyana. And when Surah Al-Mu'minun, as I mentioned before, it was mentioned that how the mu'min, they return the trustworthiness. So one should return the trustworthiness, that because that is the part of the iman. If you are not returning it, what does it mean? Because قد أفلح المؤمنون الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين. So here how they return the amana in ayah number 8, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِأَمَانَاتِهِمْ وَعَهْدِهِمْ رَاعُونَ. And success is attained by those who honestly look after their trust and covenant. One should look after their trust and covenant and return, whether you have given the position in worldly aspect, whether it was a position in Islamic center, or you are working for some institute, so on and so forth. Whatever the trustworthiness, one should return that. One should not break the trustworthiness. That is a khiyana. A moment can be anything, but not breaking the trust. Who will break the trust? Munafiq, who has nifaq in their heart, who has disease in their heart. Munafiq is not trustworthy. So we should keep the trust, whether it's a talk, whether any tangible physical things, or any kind of promise we have promised to anyone. Doesn't matter whether they are Muslim or not. Sometimes we think if they are not Muslim, we can break the promise. It's not so. There is no such thing like you can only fulfill promises to Muslim and not for non-Muslim. It's not so. One has to fulfill it. That is a part of our iman. Jazakallah khairan kasira. Do subscribe the channel. Channel name is Ilm Quran for All Bayan. You can share this clip